play a lot of JRPGs, you're probably used to stories about war. Kingdoms in conflict, armies clashing, heroes rising to change fate, entire worlds shaped by the choices of a few central characters. War in those stories often feels grand, almost mythic. Even at their most emotional, they're still about destiny, leadership, and the rise of heroes. But what happens when you take away the fantasy? When there are no chosen ones, no legendary weapons, no kingdoms to save, and instead you're left with something much quieter, a war story about ordinary people, people trying to survive, stay connected, and hold on to hope in the middle of something they can't control. That's what Valiant Hearts is. Hey friends, I'm Autumn. Welcome back to Cozy Cartridges, your channel for calm, nostalgic, and handheld gaming. If that sounds like your vibe, grab your favorite snack or drink, get comfy, and let's take a look at Valiant Hearts: The Great War and its sequel, Valiant Hearts: Coming Home. One of the things that really stands out about Valiant Hearts is how personal everything is. Valiant Hearts: The Great War isn't really about nations or sides. It's about people who get pulled into something much bigger than themselves. The story quickly makes one thing clear. This isn't a simple good versus evil conflict. Karl is a German man living in France with his wife and newborn child when the war breaks out. In the chaos, he's separated from his family and sent back to Germany, where he's forced into military service. At the same time, his father-in-law Emile is conscripted into the French army. Neither of them are motivated by patriotism or a desire to fight. They're just ordinary people trying to survive circumstances they never chose. As the game continues, you take control of multiple characters, each seeing the war from a different perspective. Alongside Karl and Emile, you also follow Anna, a Belgian nurse trying to care for the wounded, and Freddie, an American who volunteers to fight alongside French forces. What makes these characters so memorable is how grounded they feel. Emile, for example, isn't portrayed as a typical action hero. He's older, and you can feel that physically in how he moves through the world. Climbing, lifting, and scrambling through environments all take effort, reinforcing that he's just a normal person trying to survive. Instead of traditional combat, progression comes through environmental puzzles, with each character using whatever tools they have, and sometimes the help of a loyal companion to get through dangerous and unpredictable situations. It all reinforces the same idea that these aren't heroes in the traditional sense. They're just people caught up in something far bigger than themselves, trying to make it to the next moment. With Valiant Hearts coming home, that perspective expands even further. The story begins in 1917 when American forces enter the war and brings back familiar characters like Freddie and Anna while introducing new ones.
I hope this letter finds you well and that working at the...
You also meet James, Freddie's younger brother, George, a fighter pilot navigating the chaos of aerial combat, and Ernst, a German sailor who finds himself swept into the war despite, you guessed it, never choosing this path. Like the first game, it stays focused on personal stories rather than grand victories. Each character represents a different angle of the same conflict, all connected by the same theme: ordinary people trying to hold on to something human in the middle of history unfolding around them. And for me, this one felt especially meaningful to revisit because my physical copy of Coming Home just came in from Limited Run Games. And you know me, I love my physical cartridges. At its core, Valiant Hearts is a puzzle adventure game, so not my typical JRPG or farming/life sim, but still worth playing nonetheless. Here, you're solving environmental puzzles using items and interacting with the world around you, sometimes with the help of companions like the dog, Walt. A lot of the gameplay comes down to small situational problem solving. You might be searching for a crank to open a gate, timing your movement to avoid incoming artillery fire, or using objects in the environment to create a safe path forward. There are moments when you're navigating through trenches while shells are falling in the background, forcing you to move carefully between bursts. Other times, you're sneaking past enemy soldiers, using distractions or the environment to stay out of sight. Wall plays a big role in many of these puzzles, squeezing through tight spaces, retrieving items you can't reach, or helping trigger mechanisms from a distance. It adds a light layer of interaction that keeps puzzles from feeling repetitive. Each character also brings small differences to how you interact with the world. Anna's sections, for example, focus on treating wounded soldiers, where you perform simple rhythm-based actions to stabilize patients. It's a completely different pace, but it fits the tone perfectly. In Valiant Hearts Coming Home, there's even more variety in scenarios. There are moments involving vehicles and sequences tied to aerial combat through George's perspective, but they still stay grounded in that same simple, accessible design. The mechanics are never overly complex, but that's what makes them work so well. There's no traditional combat system, no grinding, no pressure to optimize anything. Instead of fighting, you're thinking your way through each situation, figuring out how to move forward safely and keep going. If you're coming from something like Fire Emblem, where you're constantly thinking about strategy and outcomes, this one feels completely different. The gameplay ends up reinforcing the story rather than distracting from it. It's not about challenge, it's about being present in each scene and experiencing the journey along with the characters. I think that's what makes Valiant Hearts so unique. It takes the theme we've seen time and time again, war, and tells it in a way that makes it quieter, more grounded, and more human. If you love the rich storytelling of JRPGs, this one may resonate with you, even if it hits completely differently. But let me know down in the comments below. Do you enjoy JRPGs for its rich storytelling? And if you do you also enjoy narrative adventure games like Valiant Hearts as well? Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for weekly cozy gaming content. Until next time, may your games be immersive, your stories personal, and your moments meaningful.